listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacqueline connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacqueline.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. You are watching Talking Heads, and I am Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. We've got a great show lined up for you today, and I have to say, earlier in the day, I had the privilege to be interviewed by the Houston Chamber of Commerce, and they were putting up some visuals and talking about some things from when we first started just a little over a year ago. And I have to thank you, our audience, for being on this journey with us as we continue to grow and where we're going. It's just so exciting. This show today is all about presentations, and we have experts from around the world who come and grace our stage and give us their expertise in bite-sized lessons so that we can be better both personally and or professionally. And speaking of being better, we're going to bring our guests out very soon. I just want to talk to you quickly about an online seminar that I am hosting that is coming up on the 16th, and it is called The Power of Learning. Power of listening. I need listening and learning and listening together. Yes, 90 minutes. And there are 3 options for you to attend in person, 9:30, 1, or 7:30 Eastern. But the great news is you don't have to attend in person. You can actually get the link and you can join us at a later time whenever it's convenient for you to watch and listen. Please go over to Instagram to purchase tickets in the link in my bio, or go right to drjacqueline.com on the website. You will be happy that you attended and got this great 90 minutes of power of listening. We're going to do bite-sized videos that people have been recording with me. We're going to be showing you them, and you get to answer questions on your phone and be engaged with the whole format of the program. So I'm pretty excited. Okay, enough of that. Let's get to the meat of our show. Let's bring out our experts today. We have joining us from New Zealand. She knows I love to say this. Mariska Duprier. Hello.
Hello.
I was talking about you today at the Houston Chamber of Commerce. But before that, we've got Caroline Heward from the UK joining us. Hello. And Caroline was in the house today when I was being interviewed by the Houston Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much. And Mariska, you were fast asleep there in New Zealand, but I did talk about you and how you helped me on my journey. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Wow.
Thinking of you even when you're sleeping. So we are so excited to have the two of you here together. Both of you dynamite powerhouse women, and you always present something that resonates with our audience. So thank you again for that.
Thank you for having us.
I'm delighted to be back.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get right to it. So before we begin, I'm going to spotlight you as I do each time. And let's see, today, Mariska, I'm going to ask you what the topic is you're presenting on and why you chose it.
So the topic I'm presenting on is mastery mindset. And the reason I chose to present this is because for a lot of us, we don't always think about mastering anything specific. And I thought it would be quite a interesting topic to delve into a little bit more and see maybe how we can apply it in our life. So, yeah, that's it.
There it is. Thank you. Thank you. And Caroline, the same question to you, the topic that you've chosen to present and why.
Okay, well, I'm excited to present this topic. It's control dramas, relationship control dramas, and it's how we steal energy within our relationships. And that's not just our intimate relationships, although that's one of the main ones. It's all of our relationships, our business relationships, our colleagues, our friends. It's going to be very interesting, and you're going to love it.
Yes. We are going to love it. Woo! All right. Well, that being said, let's get right to it. Caroline has offered to go first today. So Mariska and I are going to be backstage watching, listening, taking notes, and looking forward to rejoining you when you've finished. All right. Here's your deck. And we'll see you later.
Today, I'm looking at Mind and Body Connections series. And this specific episode is on relationship control dramas. So there are energy stealers. There are unconscious ways of behaving to gain energy or power from another person. It's the way we manipulate energy and power and control over someone else. It creates dramas within all of our relationships, and it's your need to defend and engage in defensive responses. So in essence, your reaction. So when you get caught up in a control drama, it's because you're reacting and responding. Let me say that again. It's your need to defend and engage in defensive responses equals the reaction, your reaction when you get caught up in a control drama. So relationship control dramas are taking or stealing energy from the other person. Yes, stealing energy from the other person. When we're at school, we're never taught how to gain energy. The only way that we have learned is by stealing it. And there are 4 control dramas that I'm going to look at today. There are 2 aggressive and 2 passive. So the first aggressive is the Intimidator. The next one is a passive aggressive, which is the Interrogator. The 2 passive, the first one is aloof, and the second one is the victim. Now, most people will think that that isn't a very big one, but it's the most powerful energy stealing. It's the most powerful, as we will see as we go on. So the Intimidator is also known as the bully. He's the most aggressive, or she. They will be dominating by making the other person feel inferior. And in our times, current times, there has been an absolute rise of domestic abuse because people are finding themselves working in their homes, and it doesn't necessarily mean the man only, it could actually mean the woman. So just because I'm picturing a man, it's the masculine energy. So the domestic abuse appears where they're dominating, making the other person feel inferior. It can be verbal abuse. It can be physical abuse. It can be offensive conduct and behavior to the other person. The other person can feel threatened and humiliated by the threatening behavior. What's really important here is that if you take yourself back to the office situation and you're feeling okay, and then your boss walks in. Your boss walks in and suddenly everybody's cowering or feeling uncomfortable because you don't know what the boss is going to say. This is a very common trait for some managers and some directors to be the intimidator, the bully. The second control drama is the interrogator. Now, this is passive aggressive. It's still dominating because they're asking questions that are borderline aggressive. So it makes the other person feel small and inferior. And it makes the person that's interrogating, so asking the questions, it makes them feel superior. And they might say things like, why don't you do that differently? Come on, talk to me. They feel better and you feel worse, because in the tone and the way that they're presenting themselves, it is passive aggressive. So it feels like they want to get to know you and want to make you feel special, but actually it's a form of bullying. That's the interrogator who's passive aggressive. The aloof, they are passive. Now, sometimes the man will go into the man cave, or the woman. It depends on, whether they're in their masculine energy. And so they will just go off and hide or be away from the situation. And because they're going off and hiding, they're avoiding commitment. And you can't pin them down because it's difficult, because they're not responding. They keep everyone wondering what's going on. They communicate very little to keep others in the dark. And generally, it's to keep their options open. They're physically and emotionally distant. And the game that they play is hard to get. And they really are hard to get hold of and hard to communicate with. The final control drama is the poor me. And the poor me is a passive control drama. They take the victim position. Life's unfair. They use guilt, pity to manipulate you. They use phrases like, I'm fine, I'll just carry on. I'm used to doing everything by myself. And generally you'll be listening to their sob story. But this particular control drama, it reels you in. It literally is like they're catching fish. And it's the one that can be so revealingly accurate that when you've left them, you're going to feel very drained. They reel you in slowly, slowly by using those words. I'll just carry on. I'm fine. I just have to get on with it. I've got my lot. How many poor me's do you know? So how do the control dramas create? Essentially, the aloof control drama creates an interrogator. You're probably thinking, how's that possible? Because if you're aloof and not responding and hiding away in your cave and not connecting and not committing, it will create somebody to come through that and ask a lot of questions. So the aloof will generally create the person that will ask a lot of questions, say, well, why are you being distant with me? The interrogator creates an aloof. So when the person is asking a lot of questions, it creates the reverse, and it creates the person being aloof because they don't want to answer all the questions because they feel they're being got at. So the interrogator creates an aloof control drama. The poor me creates the intimidator. So if they're in that victim space, they will be open for an intimidator to come in. They will be open to be bullied because it's where they are. Every poor me will create somebody that's going to be a bully. Now the intimidator, the one that's the bully, will create a poor me. So all of these relational ships are the way that we steal energy, because when we were at school, we were never taught how we gain our energy, how to create energy. And so what we do is we steal it because we don't know anything else. So how can we deal with control dramas? We can call them out on their behaviour. But there's a caveat here, respectfully. It's really important to be respectful because they won't really know that they're in their control drama, that they're stealing energy. It's just something that we go into as a behaviour when we feel we're lacking energy. When we are low on energy, we go into our preferred style of gaining control. So the first thing we should do is call them out very kindly and respectfully. Something like, why are you being distant? Why are you asking me a lot of questions? Why are you feeling like you are? So call them out kindly and disengage in your control drama. That's really key, because when you disengage in your control drama, there is nowhere for the person to go in theirs. It just falls apart. So if somebody's being a poor me, for instance, they will naturally attract an intimidator. And so if you literally listen without engaging compassionately, if you listen compassionately, something very interesting happens. They don't get the energy. And so eventually they will turn around and say something like, oh, never mind, how was your day? Because they didn't get the response that normally gives them the energy. So rather than steal energy, why don't you raise your own vibration by filling your cup? You're probably asking, well, how do I do that? Gratitude. Fill your cup with gratitude. What are you grateful for? How much has come in that you are grateful for? Talk about what you're grateful for, because when you are grateful, you will actually, in turn, bring more of what you're grateful for. Be compassionate. When you are compassionate, you come from the heart space. And when you're in the heart space, all there is joy and peace. And the joy, the peace, and the compassion reside in you first. You're filling your cup up first. And when you fill your cup, something incredible happens to the other person. Behavior leads behavior. And when you're full of gratitude, compassion, joy, and inner peace, something miraculous happens to the other person. And they start to come up to your vibration. That's Caroline Hewitt. I always look at mind and body connection. That is my thing, mind and body connection. How the mind connects to the body and what happens behaviorally, intellectually, mentally, spiritually, physically when there's an imbalance. And when there is an imbalance, it's a symptom. It's what we're complaining about. I'm the Harley Street Stress Expert. You can reach me on No More Stress at live.co.uk or reach out and call me on +44 7523 120 189. I offer a free telephone consultation. If you have problems and challenges in these areas, control dramas, reach out, let me help you, because it's easy when you know how.
Excellent, excellent. I love the way that it was so clear to see those different personality types when you put them in the presentation the way that you did. We've got a comment from our lovely Teuta. Well done, Caroline. Great lesson. Yes, it definitely was. Mariska, what were some of the takeaways that you had from the presentation?
Well, it one of the things that came up for me is that you form this loop. When you're in this control drama, it forms a loop. So the one sort of fuels the other one, fuels the other one. So you'll struggle to get out of it, except, as Caroline said, if you are going to raise your vibration and step out of it intentionally, because a lot of the time we do these things without thinking, and being intentional about it, stepping out of it through. And I love that you have tools like gratitude and joy and being compassionate. So those are all things that we can practice every day, and they're quite easy to do too. So I really found that insightful.
Thank you.
I would agree with you. I could envision myself in different relationships that I've had in each of those categories, by the way. And
We do. We do.
yes. And when I think back to my own behavior at the time, it wasn't the best, because in a lot of ways I was very reactive. So instead of, there's an old expression, I forget what it was, but it's like if someone's throwing something at you, it's their anger, whatever it is, if you don't react, then eventually they're going to have to stop, because they don't have any, you're not feeding into it. But whereas if you keep feeding into it, it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And some people actually like to do that, by the way. I've seen that, where they like to put fuel in the fire, whatever the expression is.
Yeah.
They just love the drama.
And that's why they're called control dramas, because it's how we make something up from something small to something huge, where really it's about one person stealing energy from another, and it creates the codependency in the relationship.
And we see that people stay together for years and years, and they have this endless pattern of behavior that it always stays the same, but they don't see it. Other people can see it, but they don't see it. And
when you're in it, you can't, unless somebody calls you out on it. And when somebody calls you out, then you get into a state of awareness. And that's the piece. It's about getting into awareness. And so you become a witness to your behavior. It's almost like you have to stop, disengage, and then become a witness, helicopter out of what's going on, and witness, be the observer of what's happening. And then you don't get caught up. And when you become a witness, it makes the other person's control drama dissolve.
Very true. I remember a certain relationship in my life, and the person would just stop talking to me. I could literally be right there in front of them. I could go like this, and they just would not, and their face wouldn't break or anything. They just would not communicate. And then what would I do? I'd get in the car and drive for an hour because I was so frustrated. And then I'm like, where am I going? I have to go back. And it was he was still the same way anyway, but I was driving myself crazy because I was reacting. Yeah. So we have to catch our own behavior as well, and make sure that, because I think you also brought this up, you start feeling smaller and smaller and smaller, like you don't even matter.
And that's when they're winning. That's when they're stealing your energy. That's when you're feeling so depleted, and so they leave feeling very highly energized, and you leave feeling just inferior, small, and depleted of your energy. And that's how we steal energy. But nobody told us these things at school. We just learnt them. We just learnt that we don't know how to get the energy. Nobody it wasn't an educational subject at school. And so we just steal it. We just, it's called in corporate one-upmanship. I'm going to get you, I'm going to make you small, and I'm going to not give you something until the last minute. And so then it makes you suffer, and makes you look stupid. And frequently when I was in corporate, there were people that gave me briefs where I only had the afternoon to do them. And that's to make you not perform, and the other person looks bigger. The only thing
sets you up to fail.
That's exactly right. But the thing is, I never did.
You outsmarted them. You took your power back.
It made me a superstar, believe me.
I love it. That's fantastic. We are going to take a break and hear from a couple of our sponsors. And then when we come back, Mariska, you are up, okay?
Yep.
All right. Stay with us here on USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. We'll be right back.
Meet the modern learner. Like most of us, the modern learner is short on time, on the go, and wants to learn on their terms and device of choice. The key is to meet them whenever and wherever they may be. The solution? Best-in-class content served up by the Engagement mobile learning platform, where the modern learner is at the center of the learning experience. For example, they can receive a text message that alerts them to a new learning module. They simply tap, watch, read and engage, or play a fun learning game. We transform your content into modules that are timely, accurate, academically rigorous, yet engaging and robust. Personality motivators are blended with modern adult learning principles to make it faster and more natural to absorb the content and have fun while learning. Our cutting-edge platform offers something for everyone. It can be an immersive experience where learners explore and engage based on what's relevant to them in that moment, or they can follow a set curriculum, earning badges and tracking points toward a credit or goal, or they can dive deeper into high-value professional content relating to their topic of interest. It's binge learning at its best. All this, along with an entire portfolio of real-time usable data and KPIs for stakeholders. Imagine, share up-to-the-minute news, enhance current curriculum, build knowledge banks, drive sales, and foster community in the push of a button. To learn more or see a demo, please contact support.
Important. You'll remember once the conversation starts.
I love the tips that she gave out. I hate networking with a passion, so I feel like I can go to a meeting or event and not feel so uncomfortable.
When you're going to a presentation, you want to be educated. You also want to be entertained.
She was really fun and really personable, and everything she was saying was just very relatable.
She's got a lot of great ideas.
That will make you stand out so fast.
She comes across as someone that likes what they do and just doesn't try to sell you something.
Activity breeds results. If you're not doing anything, you're not going anywhere.
Just made me want to start networking, which I never thought I'd say before.
A networking strategy that works for you.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hello and welcome back to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. I just love this show, Talking Heads, because we get so much incredible information in a short period of time. People are happy to be here. Look at these two lovelies, how they're smiling, excited, sharing their energy. So thank you again for joining us. Mariska, it's your turn to present. Are you ready to go?
Oh, yes.
Yes. All right. Let's bring up that deck. Carolyn and I are going backstage. We'll see you soon.
Okay. So today we are looking at the mastery mindset, and you will see a musical instrument that we started off with. And the reason I chose the specific musical instrument, that is a violin, very close up, is because it takes such a long time to actually master this instrument. And even just being able to play it to some degree of not getting the dogs howling and the cats screeching takes some time and doing. So mastery, what we will be looking at today is what is mastery, some of its key components, as well as how to cultivate it. So mastering, when we think about learning in general, We normally start off and we don't know much, if anything. So we're in the novice stage. That is where we have very little or no idea on the subject matter that we are busy with. Then we learn a little bit and we get to the amateur stage. And if we continue our learning, we'll get to a skilled stage where we can actually do this thing, well, decently, not necessarily expertly, but decently. The next step is the expert. Now, normally for most people, they have a tendency to stop at expert. They think, this is the end of the road, I have made it. I'm very sorry to let you know, but you did not quite make it yet. There's one more step, which is the master's journey. And this is really a journey. It's something that does not come to an end because we are continually improving it, changing it, and learning more. Now, one of the things, we're not going to necessarily decide to become a master in all areas of life. We might only pick one or two. We might be okay with being a novice in most. We might be okay with being amateur in most. We might be okay with being skilled in some. And then experts, yeah, possibly some of them. Now, as I said, for most people, they think of most anything we do as there is a point in which we will stop. Now, what actually happens is we just stop along the journey of mastery. So you get to a specific stage and you go, yep, okay, this is enough. I don't want to really learn anything more. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with it. I don't want to be a master chef. I am quite happy the way that I can prepare food. It is edible, it's nutritious, and I don't burn anything anymore, so I'm quite happy with that. Mastery is not necessarily my vision for my cooking skills. I do sometimes learn new things and explore a little bit in it, but that's more for fun than anything else, really. Whereas when I think about my learning journey in my career, so both in the engineering space as well as now in the coaching space, there I do want to get to a mastery level. So for me, I will continue to learn, I will continue to try things out and be on that journey. So it's really about finding out what exactly it is that we want to get out of it. Now, when we think about the components of mastery, we'll see that it basically centers around continual refinement. So we will keep exploring. Even when we think, oh, now I know everything. In all likelihood, you do not. So you will keep exploring, you will keep learning. And I find it fascinating how other areas of life might even be able to supplement some of the things that you have already learned within your mastery journey, and it might help you out. We will continue testing and experimenting with things, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and really digging into that a little bit more and seeing what's the reason it worked or didn't work. That's where the questioning comes in, asking those why, what's, hows, to dissect what we are learning a little bit more. And then, of course, it's a journey. So it is continuous. And actually getting into that flow of being okay with being on the journey and having fun with that and not expecting to get to a specific end point in time. And this then is where we come to how we cultivate. So thinking about the fact that this is a journey, it's not necessarily going to have a destination final end point. We will have a beginner's mindset, or we will cultivate a beginner's mindset. Think about the very first time that you learned how to write. The words were squiggly, well, even the letters, just practicing how to make those letters, having the lines, doing all of that work. That's having a beginner's mindset, really focusing on the action of what I'm doing. Then, of course, it's a journey, not a destination. If I want to be an expert, that's a destination. It will end. I will say, okay, I got to it. I'm an expert now. You will not necessarily improve, because to improve, you need to be on the master's journey, which is a journey. And then we look for building blocks. So when you think about, and this goes back to the beginner's mindset, when we start learning things, we start with very, very basics, and we start to learn how to construct things. So going back to writing, first we learn how to make those different curves, so our hand can actually perform that action. Then we started to learn how to make the different alphabetical letters so we can write them. And then we started putting them into words. And then the words we started putting into sentences. And then the sentences we started to put into phrases or paragraphs. And then from there, we could actually write a document. So looking at those building blocks, what is the most basic things that we start with? And sometimes when we go down to our basic building blocks enough, we can actually create something quite different if we are so inclined. And this is part of that journey. We won't be able to see any of that if we just stick to, okay, I'm an expert and nothing new can come out of this specific subject matter. There is different things that can still come out of it. And being open to that on the master's journey, therein lies the difference. And then, of course, one of the main things for cultivating our mindset in order for us to go onto that master's journey is being able to put those basic things into systems or practices. And this is where things such as habit forming works really, really well, because we can take those basic building blocks and basic ideas and really start practicing them within a habit forming practice. So when we think of, for instance, getting good at playing the violin or any sport, or even your job, right? Doing something that would put me into a practice or system where every day I can practice my skill and be able to learn something new through that continual practice will help me stay on the master's journey and also help me learn continuously throughout the process. So 3 little questions that I thought would be helpful for all of us to think about whenever we are maybe wanting to learn something new, or even just evaluating the things that you are doing, is what do I want this thing to maybe do? Or what do I want to achieve with this? What is it that I really want here at this point in time? Do I just want to be skilled at actually playing a violin so I can maybe play over Christmas every now and again just with my family? Or do I want to be able to use this as a profession and become really, really great in it? Is it something that I feel filled with or not? So what is it that I want here? And then with that, I will know whether is this a destination or is this a journey? So is this something that I want to master? Or is this something that if I get to amateur and I have a few basic skills, I'll be happy. If I can impress my friends, I'm good. Other than that, I'm not too worried about the rest. And realizing what that decision is that you are making. And then, what is it that I need to practice or put in place that would support me to get to this? So it might be that I want to learn how to play golf, and I just really want to be good enough so I can beat a few friends every now and again. Don't need to beat them every time. So what is it that I need to put in place in order for me to get to that stage? I don't even know how good my friends are. They might be quite good at playing golf, or possibly not. So what is it that I need to put in place in order for me to get to that destination? Or is it the master's journey that I have chosen for the specific thing that I'm doing? And here it is very much about looking at our whole life, really. As I said, I mean, for me, cooking and being able to make food, as long as I can eat and it doesn't taste horrible and it's not burnt, I'm quite happy. I can most probably make food a little bit better than that, but I don't want to become a chef. I don't want to open my own restaurant. So I don't necessarily want to be on a master's journey for that specific thing. I'm quite happy to be skilled. I don't even necessarily want to be an expert. Whereas with something else within my career space, I really do want to be on that master's journey and looking at what it is, what systems I can utilize that would help me to stay on the journey, because becoming a master is not necessarily an easy journey. Firstly, because most people don't stay consistent. And secondly, that continual learning and the phases we go through with learning is not always the easiest thing to go through. So if you think about your journey or want to find out maybe how to move from one journey to the next, I am a transition and leadership coach. So I help people go through different journeys or just different destinations, whatever it is that they want to get to. So you can contact me at mariska@journeytodiscover.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn.
Well done, well done. And I can attest to her amazing skills because she helped me. Mariska is the one who coached me and helped me leave my corporate role and move into my light of passion and what I really love doing. So thank you. Thank you, thank you. Caroline, I'm going to go to you and see what questions or comments you have for Mariska.
My main thing that I really picked up from that is the word practice, because I always talk about practice. I'm consistently in practice. And when I teach clients practices, I don't teach them techniques, I teach them practices, because they begin to learn and then they continue to learn and they continue to experience more. And so I do love the word practice. And I consider that my mum actually said to me that I was a lifelong student. And at 40 years old, she said, I think you'll still be studying at 60. So she was very insightful, because I guess I'm not far away from that now. and the fact that she said that when I was 40 really surprised me, because she saw something in me that perhaps I wasn't even sure about at the time. And we do, when we become a master, essentially it's not just of one thing, it's of many things that are coming in from all different places, that amount to making your bundle of skills and your bundle of ribbon, sort of much more expansive. And that's what I've been doing. And so I'm in a constant state of learning and growing and in challenge. But I do definitely like the word practice rather than technique, because we can get it. A technique belongs to the mind, but a practice belongs into something that you do unconsciously. It's something that you do without thinking, without working at it. And so I really did love that word. And master, when I first started my journey, I was looking for a master and I was looking for a guru. And I remember saying, I need to master, this. And so I need a master to help me. But actually, we become our own master. And I didn't appreciate that, because the mastery is when we become it's an unconscious way of doing something, where it's easy, where we're not thinking about it. And I don't think about what I do with my clients. I get a call or they appear and I don't know what's going to present, and I just do what I need to do and help the client in the way that they need it. And that's the mastery. But I was always looking for a master. And that is something that I've only, just in going through your presentation, I kind of think, you know what? I feel I'm reaching mastery, but I'm always after something else that I haven't got. So it's very insightful, really, really insightful. I love the word practice. Thank you.
It's a great job. And I love the fact that you said it's a mastery journey. I remember when I was in corporate, there was a lot of focus on being an expert. You need to be an expert. Find out what are you an expert in. But there was never any discussion that there might be something after that. And so the masters, when you reach that level, it's a continuum. It's not just you've arrived and that's it. So thank you for sharing that. And I love the deck. I love the use of the violin, and then the way you had the words ascending, the different words, so we can see where we are in different things. One thing that also came to mind was how we as a society put pressure on people to be certain things that they're not. So in other words, you mentioned cooking. Maybe in a certain relationship, somebody expects you to cook at a different level than what you're cooking. It's like, no, I don't want to be an expert chef in this area or a master chef. And we put our perspectives, I think, almost in a judgmental way on where we think people should be on that scale.
And it is very much a personal choice and journey. I mean, I enjoy cooking. It's not that I don't enjoy it, but I don't want to open a restaurant or become an expert or a master in it. I enjoy eating. And as long as what I cook is edible, then I'm good. I was never good at it. You can ask my parents. Sorry to say.
No, thank you for sharing that. That's very vulnerable. So thank you. I love to cook. And even though it's just my mom and me now, I have had dinner parties for 80 people, and I've had some people come in and help, but I love to plate the food, even for my mom and me. Everything, I plate the food and have all the different colors, and I want, like she's in a restaurant, I serve her, and that really means a lot to me. I'd love to have one of those amazing kitchens where you have the thing overhead with all the pots and pans hanging down and that giant island in the middle. That would be, and people are gathering around while I'm cooking. That is something I like to do. But cleaning, not so much. I don't love cleaning the house. So I don't know. Are there masters out there in house cleaning? I'm sure there are. Carolyn, how about you?
I clean in a meditation, believe it or not.
Okay.
I clean my floors. I get on my hands and knees and I clean my floors in a meditation because I know that's my root chakra. I clean all the watery elements because I know that's my sexual chakra. so I clean through the chakras.
That's very interesting.
Wow.
And I know I'm kind of, a bit kooky like that. But when I clean all my floors, that's the foundation, that's the root chakra. And so if there's a new moon or a full moon, or, so when there's change, or when I'm going through some change, I frequently I have good floor cleaners, and it's all wooden flooring, and I just get on my hands and knees and I clean my floors, and I'm feeling really good. When I've done spring cleaning, and it's not that I love it, it's that I find a purpose for it. I also have my mantras playing in the background, and I'm sort of in a really cool meditation. So hours can go by and I don't even realize it because I'm chanting away. And how I feel at the end is like sort of I feel blissful and like I've got a sparkly pin as a home. But the other big thing about when you spring clean or when you clean is that the phone starts ringing. Seriously, because you try it. When I clean, the phone starts ringing and then I get inquiries which turn into bookings. And I think, I'm still cleaning. Hang on a minute.
Wow, that's great. And so it's, in addition to cleaning being therapeutic, it's also a moneymaker.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I say I spring cleaned today and the phone's been red hot. And I'm still in my gloves.
Oh, you have to show us that.
Oh, well, I haven't got them on right now.
Oh, okay.
I have green ones at the moment.
When I was growing up, we always had chores we had to do, and there was that big poster board on the refrigerator with the days of the week, and get a gold star if you did whatever the chore was. So I always loved vacuuming, and at the time we had the kind of carpet where when you would vacuum, you could see the lines from the vacuuming. Do you know what I mean by that? We don't have those kind of carpets now. And I would love that. It'd have to be just perfect with all the lines lined up. And I think that's where maybe OCD started with me. I'm not sure, but that's another show. We learn so much here, don't we?
We do.
We do. I love this. And I love the discussions afterwards because there's so much richness that comes into what we do in daily life. And like Caroline mentioned, using the chakras and actually cleaning your house. I've never thought about that. And I'll try doing that and see what happens. Well, I'll also make a note to have my phone close, or at least my ear pods in, so that I can answer it easily. But just doing those type of things in a way where we add purpose to it. And really getting a way to add purpose to them, because there's a lot of things that we don't necessarily enjoy doing. I mean, I know I'm not a fan of cleaning either, and I'm definitely not a fan of ironing. Although
I don't do ironing. I don't do that.
See, with ironing and washing, that's where I use my meditation, because it's such an automatic thing. I don't need to really think about it. Mm-hmm. So I meditate while I do that. But I've never thought about doing that while I'm cleaning, which now I know about. So
well, I have my mantras on quite loud, and I'm, sort of chanting away. So I'm feeling really, really good. And, I clean my washing machine once a month, and I clean my filter, and I descale my kettle, because in London the water's very very lime scaly. So I clean my kettle, and it's all sparkly at the ends of it. And I kind of go, whoa, that's really cool. And I get some joy out of the fact that it's clean, you know. I know it sounds crazy, but, you know, it makes me feel good. And it's your environment is literally an expression of you. And so if there is some emotional things going on, for instance, do all the water things. So do the bathroom, the sink, the toilet, the kitchen sink. So clean all of those, and that cleans your emotions because it's all the water. Yeah, it's
interesting. I didn't know that.
You know, I'm full of useless stuff, but you know, I do have.
You need to do a lesson on that, please.
Really, I just kind of do. You know, I've been doing this work for so long that, you know, even after I've done like a full moon or a new moon ritual, I wash all my linen, all my towels get washed, you know, the night before or the day before, the day of the new moon or full moon. And then I wash all the linen. So I go into a fresh Egyptian cotton duvet, 400 count. I mean, it's very luxurious, I can tell you. And it's like a clean body, I clean from head to foot. I mean, some people say that's a lot of work, but it's because it's a newness and it's a new beginning. And it's a, you know, sort of I've cleansed and purified my body in ritual and in ceremony. And then I go into a very cleansed environment, you know, and it really does, you know, make a difference, because every twice a month we can do some things that actually can literally move our life into a really cool place. We can manifest. Well, I'd like to share this with you. I've manifested a meditation with the Peace Federation, Universal Peace Federation, on the 21st of September. And it was running around in my heart to do it. You know, I really wanted a musician to have the right thing and the right piece for world peace. And I wanted to do a guided relaxation meditation. And today, one of the directors said, why don't you do what you did last time, you know, in 2019? You led a meditation on on International Peace Day. So, yeah, you can do that again. And it was like it was running around, and I've made it happen. And I'm kind of really excited about it. Because that's what, but it's because when you're clear and you're thinking, you're coming from a heart space of your highest intention, you can create some really, really amazing things. And I've just pulled it together. I just made a few calls, and it's all coming together. And it's not that the deadline's, you know, sort of very close, but it's happening. And I'm going to lead the meditation. I'm kind of going, you know, this is really cool, because we really do create our world. We create our experiences. And that's just when you clear your decks, you can create whatever you choose. In fact, I'm actually kind of tipping into my next lesson. So watch this space for tomorrow. I'm sorry. I'm really on it today.
Reel it back in. No, that's good that you give people a little clue about what to expect tomorrow. But congratulations on that, Caroline. That is outstanding. Outstanding. It has been a total pleasure having both of you here. I was wondering if you could wait backstage just for a minute. I want to just tee something up with you, if that's okay.
Yeah, cool.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's been a pleasure. And if you missed any of our show, please go over to our YouTube channel, yay, USA Global TV, and you can watch all of our shows there. All right, thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow, and we look forward to seeing you then. Bye, everyone.